Check out this big, beautiful rack of beef short ribs. I'm gonna show you how to make some awesome smoked beef short ribs in an offset smoker. I'm Tony, this is Tony Tone Barbecue. Let's get cooking. All right, we're gonna be smoking these in the offset tomorrow, but today we're gonna prepare them by marinating them. And for this marinade, you're gonna need a few things. First of all, you're gonna need 2 cans of Guinness. So let's go ahead and get that in. There's one. Number 2, into the glass. Number 2 is for me. Cheers. All right. For the rest of the recipe, you're gonna need 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of molasses, 2 tablespoons of brown mustard, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 yellow onion. The yellow onion, we're just gonna slice in nice thin slices. All right, everything in the bowl. And we're just gonna whisk it all up. Beautiful. Okay, these beef short ribs have already been pre-trimmed by the butcher. They usually come with a big, thick fat cap on top. You want to remove that if yours still has that on there. Don't got to worry about in this case. See, they also did a pretty nice job of trimming away the silver skin that will normally be here. All right, on the back side, I'm just going to go ahead and score it up with some cross cuts. Beautiful. Then everything's going to go in the jumbo size hefty Ziploc bag here. And we'll dump in the marinade. Oh, this is going to be fun. Thanks. Squeeze out as much of the air as possible and we'll zip her up. All right, then we're just gonna wanna make sure and toss it around a few times to get everything mixed around. Perfect, okay, I'm just gonna leave it in the refrigerator overnight. Nighty-night. By the way, if you're in the market for some incredible knives, I highly recommend you take a look at Strong. These are a few of the knives that I have in my collection, and but keep in mind this is not a sponsored video. I own these, and I've owned them for years. If you go back and look at some of my previous videos, you'll see these knives in almost every one of my videos. And they are incredible. They come razor sharp. They have a lifetime warranty. They are super durable. They stay sharp very well. Most of them have never been sharpened. I only use a honing rod on them after each use, and they are still incredibly sharp. And these are really basically the Ferrari of knives, but with more like a Lexus price tag. If you click on the link that's probably in the upper corner of this video, or just go to the description and follow the link there, you can check them out. If you get them by using the link, I'll get a commission for it, so I appreciate that. That supports the channel. But man, these things, I couldn't recommend them more, especially if you got like a holiday or a birthday coming up or something. These make an incredible gift. This actually was my first Strong knife. And oh man, I was like a little kid getting a brand new Nintendo when I opened this thing. It was amazing. So yeah, definitely check them out. And I promise you, you would not be disappointed. All right, these ribs have been marinating overnight, so it's time to get cooking. We're gonna fire up the offset smoker. And a little tip for you, if you evacuate as much as air as possible out of the package, you will ensure that the marinade is making contact with 100% of the meat. We're gonna let these sit out for an hour while we get the offset smoker fired up and ready to go. So unbeknownst to me, my wireless mic died when I went to record this part, so I'm just yapping away there and you can't hear me. But it's pretty simple. I'm just applying the rub here. What you see in that shaker is just fresh ground pepper, garlic powder, and salt. And I started off with 3 tablespoons of peppercorns that I put in a grinder and grinded up to kind of a low, medium coarse grind. And then it's also 2 tablespoons of garlic powder and 2 tablespoons of salt. And I just wanted to start on the back side there and get it all over, and then get the edges and everything, just get a good coating on there. I'm doing all this before I even fire up the offset smoker, so that's going to be able to sit out and let this stuff sit on there for a good hour. Yep, still haven't figured out that my mic is dead. All right, let's talk about the tools and the fuel real quick. We're going to be cooking these Dino ribs on the Char-Griller Grand Champ XD offset smoker. I'm going to be monitoring the temperature with a ThermoPro TP25 so I can see what the cooking temperature is as we cook these. I'm shooting for an average cooking temperature of about 225 degrees. We're going to be cooking for a total of about 6 hours. The first 3 hours, we're going to be cooking them directly on the grates here. And then after 3 hours, we're going to go ahead and wrap them in aluminum and add a little bit of beef broth or more beer. By the way, if you don't want to use the Guinness beer or any other dark stout beer, you can substitute just beef broth. So then after 2 hours of cooking there, we're going to go ahead and unwrap them and sauce them and cook them for another 1 hour. And they're going to come out looking beautiful. To help evenly distribute the heat in the Char-Griller Grand Champ XD, I'm running the Lava Lock baffle plate, as you see here, which helps allow the heat to come in from the firebox side as it normally would, and heat and smoke will come up through here, but it will also be evenly distributed through these progressively larger holes over to this side of the offset smoker, and you'll still get a nice swirling effect, and you will get a better heat distribution. So that's one little trick that I have. The only really modification that I've made to the Char-Griller Grand Champ XD, which in my opinion is the best budget-friendly offset smoker on the market. And for the fuel, we're going to preheat the offset smoker, burning some B&B lumped charcoal. I've got 1 chimney full of charcoal here that I'm about to light up. But once that has been burned away, we're going to stick with nothing but splits of natural oak. So we're going to get this in the offset smoker, and then we're going to put some of this oak on top, and we're going to let the temperature even out in the cooking chamber. And when it's ready to go, after that, it's just going to be oak for the rest of the cook. Let's go ahead and fire up this charcoal. Whew, lump charcoal is hot. Let's get it in the offset smoker. I'll get the lid down, start getting some heat flowing through this thing. We're leaving the air intake over here wide open, and let's go ahead and open up the exhaust all the way too, and get the lid down, let the chamber come up. Here's a little offset smoker maintenance tip I thought I'd share with you. Although this thing is under this pavilion here and semi-covered, it doesn't ever have an actual cover over it, and it does get wet. But you notice here, there's not a lot of rust on this offset smoker, and the firebox is typically the areas that rust the most. The rest of it is like about perfect. And here's how I accomplish that. This is peanut oil. Every now and then, usually every cook, I do this. Just a little spray. That's it. Not much. Let that bake on there. That oil will protect it from rusting. All right, something I want to show you really cool over here on the temperature gauge on the right, we are at about 180 degrees. Over here on the left, we are about 180 degrees. The temperature is about even on both sides. And if you know what I'm talking about on an offset smoker, you've got your firebox over here, and usually this side is super hot when this side is super low. On the right side, it might show 250 degrees by now. And on the left side, it might show like closer to 150 degrees. The Lava Lock baffle plate helps distribute the heat and smoke evenly, so it makes it a lot easier to cook on one of these things. All right, we're just about ready to get those ribs into the cooking chamber. I want to show you how I have my firebox set up. So I used that B&B lump charcoal to create this nice hot coal bed over here that's going to give me some good consistent heat right out of the gate. And I just added my first stick of oak, which is just starting to catch flame right now. See it there? And this is what I'm going to do from now on. I'm just going to be adding a stick of oak in that little pile of coals here as often as necessary. In this offset smoker, running slits of oak about that size, it's usually about every 30 minutes. So also over here on the left side of the firebox, right up against the cooking chamber, I've got another couple sticks of oak that are sitting in there. They're close to the fire, but not close enough to where they're going to catch fire. They're just going to get really super hot, which means when I take one of those and I put it on top of the fire over here, they're going to light up almost instantly, and I'm going to minimize the amount of smoldering that I'm going to get, which is going to give us that dirty, thick white smoke that we don't really want. We're going to minimize that as much as possible. So I'm going to close the lid now. Another way you can heat up your wood if you don't want to put it inside there, if you don't quite have the room to do it, is you can just stick it right on top of your firebox like that, and the heat coming up from out of the firebox is going to be more than enough to get these things nice and hot. And then same thing, just take it, throw it in there, you're good to go. Okay, it's 11 o'clock right now. Let's get these things smoking. So here's what we're going to do. This might drive some people crazy, but I am not going to be cooking to temperature on this cook. Okay, I'm going to stick these ribs in here just like this. I've got my ThermoPro TB25 temperature probe back here, and it's going to let me know what the temperature inside the cooking chamber is. I am not inserting any temperature probes in this meat. I'm going to know that it's done in two ways. One, you don't see any bones right now, do you, right? It's meat from end to end. We're going to know these are done because as they cook, the meat is going to contract, and you're going to start seeing bones on the ends. We're going to see quite a bit of bones on each end on these ribs. The other thing I'm going to do is we're going to be cooking to probe tenderness. So when these are done and I stick a probe in it, I can stick my instant read in it. It should just go in like butter, like a hot knife into butter, just nice and easy. That's how we're going to tell that these are done. They're going to be super tender, and there's going to be bones exposed, so I'm not worried about temperature. In this case, I'm just going to trust the process. We're going to cook it for 3 hours like this. I'm going to close the lid now, and I'm not going to open the lid again until 3 hours has elapsed. I'm not going to spritz or anything like that in this case, especially in an offset smoker like this. If you open the lid too often, you start losing quite a bit of heat. If you got a much bigger, heavier pit, that's not going to be an issue. On this guy, yeah, it's an issue. So I'm going to leave that lid down. Plus 3 hours, it's going to be fine. I'm not have to worry about it drying out or anything like that. You're welcome to mop or spritz if you want. So that's it. We're just going to let it run for 3 hours. I'm going to keep the temperature right around the 225 degree range. If it pops up to the 250 or something like that, that's not a problem. These ribs will take that, no worries. And then we're going to wrap them and keep on going. And I like to give you guys a weather update. So right now it's 11:04. Temperature is 74.1 degrees. It is a nice sunny day. It's beautiful, and don't have to worry about wind or anything like that. So it's going to be a perfect day to be barbecuing. Another little thing to note here, when I'm smoking something in the Grand Champ, I usually leave the drain plug out and my bucket hanging so the drips can go right in there and makes cleanup nice and easy. Look at that smoke. That is pretty. That's what I'm talking about right there. Nice, clean, bluish, thin, beautiful, delicious smoke. That smoke means the fire is burning right. All right, I'm going to see if I can show you something. Temperature has come down to 203 degrees, and it is 11:49. It's actually the first time I need to add a split of wood, and I want to see if I can show you how this works out with getting the wood nice and hot. So this is what's left of that last split that I put in there, and the coals. I'm just going to kind of rearrange a little bit here, kind of get them all towards the middle, and I'm going to take this stick right here. I'm going to put it right on top of the fire, on top of those coals, and we'll see how long that smolders before it lights up. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can reach over here and grab, oh, there it goes. Hey, before I can grab another split of wood, that caught fire, and I'm going to grab another split and stick it over there to replace the one I just put on. Yeah, hot, hot, woohoo. That one is going to be going on the fire next. I need to get this lid down so we can keep cooking. All right, it's 2 o'clock. Let's have a look at what these Dino ribs look like after 3 hours of cooking. Here we go. We're looking good. Barely starting to see the bones peek through there a little bit. We still got a good ways to go to cook, but we're going to get these wrapped. And that's going to accelerate the process and we'll make them beautiful. Let's do that. All right, this is a big chunk of meat. So to wrap these things, you're gonna need a nice long piece of heavy duty aluminum foil, the extra wide stuff. This is 18 inches, all right? So take this, gonna put it in the middle of the aluminum foil. Actually, first, gonna set it there like that. Gonna braise it, or gonna baste it with a little more of that Stout Guinness here, or your beef broth if you prefer. Do that. There we go. Just a couple tablespoons worth. Let's flip that over. We're gonna go meat side down. Check that out. I like that. Okay, now what we need to do is we're going to just pull up each side of the aluminum foil, have the meat in the middle, and just roll it together. Not too tight because you don't want to be busting through like I just did with a bone. I'm gonna fix that. All right, and then roll up the edges like that. Roll that edge. Roll that edge. Okay. And we're gonna make a nice sealed pouch. Okay, now, because I busted through right there, it's a tiny hole, but I don't want it. I don't want that tiny hole. So there, nice, snug. Just a little tiny point got through there. Not much, but enough to where I'm not happy with it. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna tear off another piece of aluminum foil here. Get that out of the way. Okay. We're intact? We're intact. Okay. Now we're going to double bag this sucker. One more time. There. All right, that'll do the trick. Okay, 2 hours back into the offset smoker. Gonna keep cooking around 225 to 250 degrees. And then after that, after 2 hours, we're gonna pull it out and carefully open it up and then get it out of the aluminum foil and back in the offset. So right now, meat side down, okay? The seam stays up. Let the meat side stay down, and it's going to just cook inside that little bit of extra juice we put in there. 2 hours. I got a special cheat code for you. If you are tired of working the fire and adding a split of wood every 20 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it takes, for this part of the cook, because the meat is wrapped in aluminum foil, it's not going to be taking on smoke flavor anymore. For this part, you can go ahead and add some lump charcoal or even regular charcoal on top of your burning wood and let that be your heat source. Don't put in too much. Put in enough to where you're going to have a good solid 2 hours worth of heat, and then you don't have to worry about the adding wood during that time. And you can actually add enough. You got to find the right balance. Okay, add enough to where you can close the lid, and if the temperature starts going too high, then you can come over here and just close down your exhaust a little bit so it controls the temperature this way. Instead of letting it free flow, if it starts smoking and smoldering, that's totally okay. Got 2 hours where it's not going to be taking on any of that smoke flavor because it's wrapped up in aluminum foil. All you need is the heat. But just keep in mind, for that last hour that we're going to be doing, you're going to want to make sure that you are getting some more good heat from the burning wood. So at that point, you know, you're going to want to open that stack all the way, let it burn nice and clean, and maybe add a fresh thin stick of wood and get that flavor back into the meat. All right, it's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is time to move on to the last stage of cooking on these ribs. Let's pull it out of the offset smoker here, and unwrap them and see what we got. Ooh. All right, we've got some bone showing there. Move them over onto this baking sheet. All right, for this last part of the cook, we're gonna go ahead and top them off with some barbecue sauce. Go ahead and pick whatever your favorite is. This is Smokin' Bliss's barbecue, spicy barbecue sauce. I'm putting this on there because it's freaking delicious. All right, back into the offset smoker. All right, lid down. We're gonna let these cook for another hour. Okay, it is 5 o'clock and it is time to open this up. We're done cooking. Now let's see what we have. And there it is. Okay, now, be honest. What I saw earlier, I was like, uh-oh, I'm seeing a little more bone than I wanted to see. You can see, I can, without a doubt in my mind, this meat is done and it is tender. Let's check the temperature and see where we've ended up. That went in like nothing, like butter. Look at that, we're running almost, or about 190 degrees. So there we are. Temperature is good. It's where I was expecting it to be, right in that range. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and very carefully take this out of the smoker off the grill here without seeing if we can, without letting those bones fall completely out, because that meat is really no longer attached. I think it's just sitting on there. So let's pull it out and then we're gonna let it rest. All right, here we go. Oh yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and, like I said before, trust the process and see how this plays out. We're gonna let this rest for 10-15 minutes, and then we're gonna slice into it and see what we got. All right, we've been resting for about 20 minutes, so time to check this out. I'm gonna carefully take it off of the baking sheet here, put it directly on the cutting board. Now, I'm pretty sure that these bones are just gonna come right off of the meat, and well, we're gonna find out. Did we overcook it? Is it awesome still? The aroma, the smell is just fantastic, I'll tell you that. The barbecue sauce I put on there, I'm excited to try that. That's gonna be really good, that Smokin' Bliss. So let's just go ahead and bust out the big knife, and let's see what we can do. So I'm gonna start by separating these two bones here, just by doing one cut right down the middle here, and see if we can end up with at least one good bone-on rib. That just went through like butter. Wow, actually the meat is sticking. Look at that. Okay, maybe trusting the process is actually gonna work out. That is really pretty. I'll try to set this down carefully right there, and let's just get one more right through here. Whoa, see that? See the bone just slid off of that? It just moved. So carefully slice through. There, didn't put any pressure on that whatsoever. So this meat also looks like it is coming off of the bone. But oh my gosh, look at that juiciness. I mean, does it really need to be attached to the bone? No. I mean, who's going to eat this much meat off of one bone anyways? To be honest, we're going to be cutting this off in big chunks, and it's going to be more than enough. Hey, Packer, you're a little too excited there, buddy. I'm going to set that down there, and yeah, this one, I mean, there, see, there it goes. It just fell right off. Yeah. All right, so Packer would love to have this. Can I give it to Packer? Can I give it to Packer? No? Well, Packer. Mama says no. All right. Now I got to taste something here. So I went and got my fingers a little greasy. But I'm just going to go ahead and cut this piece right through the middle there. And we'll get another piece here. I mean, that is, oh, so pretty. Look at that. Uh-huh. So, yeah, I got to go ahead and get me a bite and see. Oh, it's just dripping. It's still a little warm, but bon appetit. Mmm. 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 Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh wow, that is freaking amazing. Okay, so first of all, that beer marinade, you can totally taste it in the meat, and it is phenomenal. And then I'm getting onion, I'm getting garlic, I'm getting little bits of pepper. That's all in there. This is some of the most flavorful and most delicate and delicious meat that I've ever eaten in my life. And then, oh, that barbecue sauce on the top. It's got a nice little bit of spice to it, and wow, it is just perfect. Mmm. Oh, and just the perfect amount of smoky flavor. Boom. I am not unhappy with this. I am not unhappy with this at all. This is freaking amazing. So, yeah. If I were to change anything, I don't know, maybe back off the wrapped part, maybe a half hour, maybe instead of 2 hours, do 1.5 hours. So maybe the meat sticks to the bone just a little bit more. Things are going to vary because it's going to vary on the thickness of the meat, the temperature that you're running, the conditions. And in another situation, 2 hours might have not been enough. I don't know. But bottom line is, this is phenomenal. Nobody's going to be unhappy with this. And I'm ready to go eat dinner right now. This is going in my belly immediately. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been educational and fun and all that good stuff. I'm Tony. This is Tony Tone Barbecue. And keep on cooking, my friends. Mm.